This is my story, and it's a story of love.
And you are?
Frances Langton.
I see.
He's in a very special situation. He's in a very white patriarchal society, like the elite snobbery. And yet he seems to have total freedom. And I'm wondering if that has to do with his character and personality. He's so charming.
Yeah, he's the most charming person you'll meet in the room. And
Yeah.
I think just on what you said there, I think he knows, you know, who he is in the room. So he knows he's in this society where it's a white patriarchy. And I think that's what's so fascinating about him, is that he enjoys being, you know, a person of color in this room full of white people and commanding as much respect as he does. He really enjoys that, and he leans into that to kind of like, you know, to get what he wants, essentially, which is what was so fascinating about him as a character. But we don't usually, well, at least I hadn't really heard about many characters like that. So playing Laddie was really insightful for me in terms of kind of just like understanding, okay, what life was like for a person of color that did have the privilege that he had. But like, I think with Laddie, we get to see a person of color in the 1820s who is very privileged.
Her own mistress massacred right next to her.
In truth, no one ever expects any kind of story from a woman like me.
The pacing is so fast in the story, and there's so many themes that we're dealing with, themes of culture, history, feminism, LGBTQ, you know, there's so much going on. Was it tough to stay in place, like to know where in the daily shooting, to know where you are on all of these levels?
It wasn't really tough in the sense, because I think I was blessed with wonderful cast members, and Sara was always like available to me in terms of all these kind of different themes that we had to, you know, tackle. But it wasn't really difficult for me in like, you know, focusing on what's on the story we're trying to tell, because I think Laddie was so captivating to me that I was able to just kind of like see the world through his lenses, which kind of helped me, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, I wouldn't say it was difficult in that sense, no.
And you seek to repay me by taking what is mine. May I?
A toast to your singing, dancing, smiling subjects.
I saw terrible things. Friday!
Crime. Why is crime such a popular topic in literature and culture?
I think for me anyways, why I'm so infatuated by crime stories is because that's a life that's so far away from me.
Yeah.
I think naturally we're drawn to stuff that we're not aware of, you know, so I feel like, we don't know much about, or we're not allowed to do, or we don't do in our own personal lives. So when we hear a story about that, we're always kind of like intrigued as to, you know, what is it that leads people to do what it is they do, you know? And I think that's for me, why I'm so and invested and infatuated by, like, you know, crime stories.
This is death!
For the things I did,